Hi, welcome back. Middle of April. It is the 19th, Sunday the 19th of April. Lovely sunny day here. We've had just incredible weather for early spring really. We've had temperatures up into early 20 degrees centigrade and things are really moving along fast. So I thought I'd start you off in the greenhouse here and just show you a few things that I've got going on. The grapevine, you can really see this has come on. Got some lovely sprouts and a huge number of flower on here. I'm going to need to have a look and see exactly what I should and shouldn't be doing. I think I'll let them be pollinated and then select probably the best bunches to keep and maybe snip off some of the others. And we'll need to tie this in as well. See, it's starting to move around a little bit. And I've got huge amounts of seedlings being propagated in here, just keeping things underneath this fleece. It is still pretty cold in the night times, and I don't want to lose it. No, I've worked so hard to get this up and running, and I'll just talk you through some of the things I've got here. Okay, looking along the seedling bench, see I've got far end here sweet peppers. These are growing quite nicely. I do get a little bit worried. The nights can still be quite cold, and on a number of occasions these have really sort of drooped down, but seem to be getting away with it at the moment. And aubergine as well, these are looking really good. Little snail just on the end there, I'll dispose of him. So yeah, aubergine, haven't grown these before, so hopefully they'll do all right. And really pleased with these. Lovely stocky little tomato plants. These are a variety called Sun Gold, which again have not grown before, and hopefully they'll do really well. Supposed to be super sweet, cordon variety cherry tomato. See some roots, another slug. Yeah, need to get on top of some of these. Just in here, this one here, I've got squash. Sorry, these are melon, cantaloupe melon. Again, never tried growing those before, but we'll see. I have got some squash, so a bit further up on here. Moving across, you can start to see that I've got a few other things going on here. If we just move across the propagating area I've got, so at the front here, these are cantaloupe melon. These are chilies. Runner beans, just started to sprout up. And under here I've got two different varieties of squash. I've got a butternut squash and a crown prince squash. And underneath this one, another couple of chilies. They're a really nice Trinidad perfume, they're called, and they're really tasty. They've got the tastiness, flavour of a Scotch bonnet, but none of the heat. So really quite interesting there. And at the back, no sign yet, but they're a courgette called Cockazelle. They're a striped Italian courgette. Again, really tasty. Okay, these really tiny little seedlings, I started these off in a tray and then pricked them out into these individual cells. These are celeriac. Tried growing these last year and it didn't really work. I think it's just because I didn't start them early enough, so hopefully this year they'll produce into something better. Moving up onto this side, these are lots of different types of cucumber. So I've got a Japanese cucumber, baby cucumber, and cucamelon, which again I haven't tried. Different types of climber here, Spanish flag, these ones. Just underneath here I've got they're a different type of squash, this one called Marina de Chioggia. Grew them last year and they were absolutely delicious. They're enormous, really huge, warty green skin, but they absolutely taste delicious. Basil, again just to pop in the greenhouse with my tomatoes. And under here they've grown a lot. They're a yellow courgette and they're really nice. Got a spiralizer and I like to turn it into courgette, and the yellow mixed with the green, they just really look absolutely delicious. Going down here, I've got the different seedlings just starting off down here. Celeriac in that far corner there. Underneath that cover there's a bean, a drying bean, peas for shoots, and sweet corn. They're sprouting up nicely. Slugs have been having the tops off a few of those, unfortunately. And then just a few rosemary and lavender in the corner. Okay, in this bed here I've got a few different sowings. On the far right here I've got some greyhound cabbage just netted over, a couple of rows of spinach, got a nice hearting lettuce that I've just popped in here, and some multi-sown beetroot, a couple of little weeds, just pull them out as I'm going, and a couple of rows of peas as well. I'm using this netting over the top just to protect it from birds and hopefully give a little bit of frost protection as well. Just when I'm uncovering these things, if I see any weeds, just popping them out as I'm going, hopefully just staying on top of it. There's a little bit of slug damage under here, nothing too major. I'm really pleased with how the garlic and onions are coming along. I plant these in the autumn. I actually planted them in little cells this year, and then transplanted them in the spring, and they're looking really good. Just notice this one's got a bit of a lean on it. I suspect, yeah, probably the moles have been underneath that one. This is really, yeah, you can see they've just been coming along. Really good. What you've got to do is just make sure you're keeping on top of the weeding so they don't cast any shade, so the weeds will really take hold very quickly. This is an absolute essential as far as I'm concerned for the allotment. You just let them grow, harvest them around June, let them dry, and then it keeps being garlic for the whole year. So here we are, just looking inside my free polytunnel. This is something that I leave open all the time. It just offers that little bit of protection, and I'm sure the temperature in there's significantly warmer than just being outside. Broad beans are looking absolutely fantastic now. These are a dwarf broad bean, planted in the spring. They're just about to start coming into flower soon actually. Moving over, just put this very ramshackle fencing up, but got peas already clambering up there. Step over to the side, and multi-sown beetroot again, multi-sown spinach, and all coming along nicely with that little bit of extra protection. Just at the back of my greenhouse I have this little sort of wildlife area, a little pond, and just see the oxygenating plants just coming back to life. Really try and encourage some wildlife as I'm going. Hopefully they'll encourage sort of frogs and things like that, which will then predate on slugs and snails and will help each other out. So here we are at the door of my greenhouse, and I've had to rig up some little bits of fencing just on the greenhouse. I came down a couple of days ago and the jackdaw had been in and started helping themselves to my cabbages. This greenhouse has so far been a real success. You can see just how much further ahead everything is in here. I've got potatoes that are just doing brilliantly. I'm going to be eating those within 3 weeks, the first ones. And over this side the cabbage, greyhound cabbage, and they're again looking absolutely fantastic. Apart from the ones at this end that my friendly jackdaw decided it was going to come and help itself to. Bit of a shame, but there we go. The carrots, they're looking great. Thinned those out the other day, and garlic at the front there, again looking really good. And I've rigged up an automatic irrigation system to my watering can that's just at the back, water butt, sorry, not watering can, and hopefully that will work really well. This is a real success. Asparagus, not been in here particularly long, but you can already see beautiful asparagus shoots just coming up through the ground, quite a number of them as well. I've had one harvest off these already, absolutely delicious. Okay, these are runner bean seeds, ones that I've saved from last year, and I'm just going to have a go at popping some in. I've already got some plants growing in the greenhouse, so if these do come up and get frosted, it won't be the end of the world. But I've looked on the weather forecast, there's no frost due for the next 2 weeks, which takes us into May. I can always pop a fleece on these if need be. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my dibber, dib a hole in, drop a bean in, and cover over and move on. Okay, so I do try to grow a few flowers, some for the garden and some just to plant around the allotment. It's nice to encourage the pollinators. There is someone on this allotment plot who has a couple of beehives. It's nice to be able to give them some nectar because I do enjoy having the honey from those later on. So I'm just going to do some pricking out from a seed tray. I've got my seed tray and just got a few different things in here. I've got these are cosmos at this end here, gypsophilia and love in a mist, nigella here. So just take myself a small tray, nice cells these. I just fill the cells with a nice peat-free compost. Okay, flatten it all off. Just take out any large stones. Then you're going to just use something like a pencil and you're just going to go in underneath, and when you're lifting just take hold of the seedling by its leaves, don't take hold of the stem. Okay, just going to pull up. Enormous root system on this. I really should have got it in quite a lot earlier than this. I think the pencil is going to be ambitious. Nice hole in there, tuck as much of the root in as you can and just firm in around, and we just carry on doing the same here. Yeah, I've left these too long, they're a little bit too large. These got an enormous root system on them. They're not going to be terribly easy to carry on moving, but there we go.